Good morning YouTube and welcome to today's video. I hope you're doing really well out there. For today's video, we're going to be making and eating a very popular Filipino dish known as Sinigang. Sinigang is a soup or a stew. It's very sour, very savory, meant to be very delicious. While doing some research to try and establish where Sinigang comes from, I struggled. I think it originates back to like the 15th, 16th century when the Spanish colonized. When the Spanish colonized the Philippines, they brought with them a delicious stew. I may have made all of that up. So that's what we're going to be making and eating today. We're currently parked outside the Asian supermarket because yes, we have to go and get ourselves some awesome, unique, and fun and funky ingredients. Oh, hello there. One of the main ingredients that we're going to be using for the sinigang is taro, which in Tagalog is gabi. Or is it gabi? Chloe? We got the taro. We got the taro, but we didn't get the pork belly.
Pork ribs.
Taro was expensive, wasn't it?
It's like £6 for a taro.
Yeah.
Or gabi.
Is that how you say it?
Yes, gabi.
Oh, we weren't sure. We were talking about it well, we weren't. I was saying I wasn't sure. So we're going to go now to Sainsbury's, which isn't Asian.
But we know they have ribs.
And also we're going to get Siling Haba.
And some tomatoes and okra. Okra or okra?
I don't know, you're the one who knows the words.
I don't know. All I can think about is the ocarina of time whenever I say it.
So that was very, very successful. We got pretty much everything. We got pretty much everything that we needed, including okra and Siling Haba, which, if you recall, are the chilies that we used in our recent dinuguan. Now, the other ingredients that we're going to be using for today are actually, Chloe, why don't you do the ingredients for today? Here, you hold this.
Okay.
Position it nicely.
Okay.
And no, don't look at me.
Oh no, why?
Look at you.
Why?
You're vlogging.
Am I vlogging?
Go.
Come back.
Tell them what the ingredients are.
I don't know.
Yes, you do. You got to look at the camera. It's not even pointing it. You got to point the camera at you. Come on, you can do it. No?
No.
Okay. So the ingredients that we're going to be using today are pork ribs, onions, garlic, long beans, tomatoes, lemon, limes,
bok choy, okra, siling haba, daikon, taro, aubergine, fish sauce, and most importantly, tamarind.
Excellent. So you did know what we were going to be using.
You put me on the spot.
Okay, next time I'll give you a warning. First thing we need to do is we're going to have to sear the meat and chop the onions and the garlic. So we just finished searing the third batch of the meat. Now the reason you do it in batches is because there is so much of the meat that if you throw it all in the pan at once, it's gonna get too hot, it's gonna get too sweaty, and all the moisture in the pan will stop it from getting crispy and brown. Now before we did that, Chloe chopped the onion, the garlic, and the taro and the tomato.
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Once you saute off the onion and garlic, you add the tomato and let it get all mushy, and then
mushy.
And then you add it all back in the pan with the meat and the taro will break down and thicken the soup, which is why we've shaved some of the taro so it breaks down more easily.
Cool. Shaved taro. All right, so we just poured some water in, and while we wait for the water to come to a boil, Chloe just said something really interesting, didn't you, Chloe, about skimming the fat off?
So as it comes to a boil, there'll be like a layer of scum that collects at the top. You need to skim it off because those are free proteins from the meat and they'll make your broth cloudy if you leave them in. When I make stock, I don't generally bother, but because we're doing something and I think it's supposed to be a clear broth, so we'll skim it. So you can see how there's like bubbles forming and they're like white and murky and kind of like gray. That's what you want to skim off.
Awesome.
And this is, I don't know what to say.
Basically, you're not going to waste it, which is pretty cool.
Definitely not throwing this away. Definitely drinkable. Gonna have it now. I mean, that's already really good. Like, this is already like a meal. That's good. I got some raw garlic there and it's spicy.
I want to try it. Ooh, it smells brothy. Oh, wow. That's amazing. That's kind of like the basis of the sinigang.
Yeah, so it'll get more flavorful as we simmer the meat for another hour.
So Chloe's gonna finish getting rid of the remaining scud, and then we're gonna add the fish sauce and the tyro. I feel like I said tyro.
I mean, you could say gabi as well.
I could. Okay, let's go again. So we're gonna remove the remainder of the scud, and then we're gonna add the gabi and that just threw me off completely, the fish sauce, and then leave it to simmer for an hour and a half before coming back and finally adding the sour ingredients in the form of the lime and the tamarind. I'm excited.
I'm excited. This is gonna be really good.
It smells amazing. Okay, so we were just discussing, in fact, whether or not we should tie the long beans, like in the nice little shapes that we did recently for the kale kale. Chloe, what are we gonna do?
Well, I'm blanching them so that we can tie them. It just feels like such a shame that we spend all this money on long beans and then cut them into short beans. I'm gonna tie them.
That's true.
Making me shiver. He's not like you, don't want him to. He's more like the river, growing stronger. When we're alone, there's no you in the picture. Ain't my number, isn't how I want it to. You see, I know this, but the last days in real life I've noticed. Losing focus, breaking up from our life as we know it.
Dishy dishy?
Yeah, dishy dishy. This is sinigang.
You've never had sinigang before, have you?
I haven't, no.
Well, I think you're in for a treat.
I haven't actually had any of it yet, besides the scud that you saw me eat earlier. Which, if this is anything like the scud was, we're in for a really good treat. It's also a really appropriate meal for today. The weather in England is horrendous. It's wet, it's windy. So this is like warm, hearty, perfect meal for a day like today.
Our eyes are closed when we start this loop on repeat. Hear my chest, how it beats when you put your hands on me. Time goes fast, but yet so slow. I leave all thoughts, yeah, I let them go.
Look at the size of this. So this is ceiling harbour.
I think it's like a banana pepper, something along those lines.
Got a beautiful dish of goodness. Taro, pig's rib. Pig's rib?
I mean, it is pig's rib.
This is a bowl of rice, everybody. Please do not fear. We're not just having sinigang on its own as well. We are having it with rice.
We have pretty much everything with rice.
I know, but I just want to clarify because I know when we had kale, people were really concerned that we didn't have it with rice. Oh, wow. It looks so hearty and delicious. I'm so impressed with this meal. Let's just try some of this juice. Ooh, wow, that's delicious. That's delicious.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, so I wonder when this is a dish that's popular to eat in the Philippines. Is there a particular time of the year? Because like I was saying, it feels really appropriate today because it's cold.
I think it's just a fan favourite, you know?
Oh,
I I had a seafood one, and this one is pork. So I think this one is called Sinigang na Baboy. Sinigang na Baboy, I think means sinigang with pork.
Sinigang na Baboy.
Well, earlier didn't you say sinigang means sigang, but it comes from sigang?
Oh, did I? Now the word sinigang means sigang, I think, which is to stew in Tagalog. Sigang. Is that right, Chloe? Yeah, I think I meant to say sinigang comes from the word sigang, which in Tagalog means to stew, I think. I often make a few mistakes here and there, but I really do research and try to get it correct. I don't want to upset, offend anyone, spread false information or anything like that.
We're just trying to learn. This is a really big pepper.
I'm really trying to get the valves right.
The valves.
The valves. Did I say valve?
You said valve.
I'm not a plumber. I meant vowels. I'm trying to get the vowels right, like e, o, u.
You missed a vowel.
Did I? A, e, o, u.
Yes.
A, e, o, u. Yes! Now once I have the vowels, I can start to say... Once I have the vowels, I can start to say the correct words. Yes, everybody! Yes! Awesome. Also, this is amazing. I realize we haven't spoken a word about this yet.
This is incredible.
I want to take a moment to say thank you very much. I always do this, but I really mean it. To anybody that has recommended Sinigang, I'll try and give you a little shout out pop up because I really appreciate you because this is so good. I'll tell you what, that taro is so good.
Yeah, it's like thickened up the sauce and it's got like a real earthiness. Big fan of the daikon.
Is that the Filipino word for it?
No, I think the Filipino word for it is labanos.
Is that true? How do you know that?
It was in a recipe and it said like 1 4-inch piece of labanos. So I had to Google it and I was like, oh, it's daikon.
I don't know how you can remember these things. I have a very short-term memory. I was just wondering, have I already forgotten the vowels? A, E, O, U, E.
Yes. No, you made the right sounds. It's just in the wrong order.
Okay, we'll come back to it. We'll keep practicing, I promise.
Okay, I'm gonna go for this piece of okra. Never had okra before. Okra's not bad.
Which one's the okra?
This green thing that's on this one. I've heard okra being described as like slimy before, so I was a bit apprehensive, but no, it's pretty good.
That wasn't slimy. Now, the long beans have caused us difficulty in the past. We didn't chop them up. I'm going to try and conquer these beans.
It's easier because this time I just did the wraps of 1 bean, so it is kind of mouthful size.
Is this the healthiest Filipino dish that we've had so far? If we consider kare-kare, adobo. That was a mixture of adobe and adobo. I tried to stop my brain really quickly from saying adobe. Big Ol' Express, sisig, adobe. Every time. There's so much veg, there's so much fiber.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to get some rice.
Okay, wait for
and
me.
dip it in. Maybe if you can get like a little bit of meat off of something.
Oh, wow, yeah. I wonder if you could have puto with this.
I don't think it would go.
No? Okay.
Is puto from a different region of the Philippines?
I don't think puto comes from a particular region. It's just Filipino. Maybe you guys can tell us that. And I feel comfortable that even if like I hadn't had your help, I could erect this. Like the Skud is probably the most laborious.
It's actually called the scum.
Oh, the Skud.
I just said Skud at one stage and you really run with it.
My lovely, you got a little bit there.
Thank you.
Just besides skimming the scum, anyone can do this. We can all make this. I always say if I can do it, anyone can. The bone is so tender, you can just bite through it. Delicious. We've now made something like 5 or 6 different dishes, whether they be main meals or desserts. I am so happy to have done this because the food that we've experienced has been unbelievable. Filipino food, I may be incorrect, but I believe is pretty not rated necessarily, but underknown. Is that a word?
Like it hasn't come into fashion yet. It hasn't had its moment the way that Korean food has.
Sure, yeah.
It definitely deserves it.
Oh yeah.
That was super filling. There are so many veggies in here. This is the one time I'm not going to keep the bones.
There's just nothing left. No.
Yeah, because all the flavour's already in here.
Sure.
How is the okra?
The okra's good. The tamarind, the aubergine, the pork, the galbi. It's so delicious. I'm so happy about this. I should clean my mouth. My mum always tells me off for eating with my mouth full.
Talking with the mouth full.
Yeah. This is why I'm struggling with Tagalog, everybody. I struggle with English. Yes. What was I saying? I know what I was going to say, everybody. We made mango float cake, graham cake, crème de la manga.
Yeah.
We made mango float yesterday, and it's a video that's already out, so you may have seen it. But that means we have some left over.
I'll take a slice out of the fridge because it's supposed to come up to room temperature for a few minutes.
I saw one recipe that used miso, and you could create like an umami flavor. I think it's important to mention maybe the people that we get the recipes from. Basically gathered this one recipe from 3 recipes.
We had Kaoling Pinoy, which is the old classic. Another blog called Hungry Hoy. And then the third blog was Riverton Kitchen.
Well, we'll definitely put their links in the description box. I think that's only fair. We'll clean up and
have some mango float.
The bonus part of today's episode.
Bonus!
So the cross section is beautiful. It really is.
Oh, you prefer it frozen?
I think I like both versions. It's really good.
I mean, it makes you smell like a kid.
It does, doesn't it? It makes you feel like a big kid.
Is it more mango-y now that it's frozen? I feel like the flavor of mango like really intensifies the colder the mango is. If you have like a warm mango, it just tastes like sweet.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone that wouldn't like this.
Maybe someone who doesn't like mangoes.
Is there anything different you would have done with the Sinigang?
I don't think so. Maybe less taro. I feel like at the end, like so much of it broke down that the soup sort of became a lot less sour as we were going through it because it became a lot more taro-y.
We were laughing because we think this is one of the first meals that we could probably prepare for my mum and not be too worried about like her blood pressure or cholesterol.
Super mum friendly and just so good and delicious, and I think she'd really like it. And I don't think she'd have ever had anything like it before.
I think she'd really enjoy it. And well, we hope you enjoyed the video. I know I say this every time, but it really was a blast to make. The process of making it was really enjoyable. Obviously eating it was incredible because it tasted delicious.
I mean, we went on a tour all around South London to get all the ingredients.
Sourcing all these ingredients is sometimes quite challenging, so it requires us to go far and beyond our home. It means that we get to spend time together. That's the beauty of what we do making these videos. It's for us as well. It's just like a great opportunity for us to spend time together and do fun things.
I just like hanging out with you.
I like hanging out with you.
I also like cooking and eating, so.
So do I. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and drop us a comment below. As always, let us know what you thought of the video, and please feel free to recommend any food that you think or would like us to make and eat. And we'll see you on the next video. Make sure you subscribe. Bye.